Hello and welcome back to Realm of Thrones 4.0. Alright, so in this episode I'm going to endeavor not to use my dragon at all. Or at the very least, we're going to see whether we can actually make that work. Because obviously some of the time we are just overwhelmingly outnumbered and, well, bad things would have transpired otherwise. As we've so far seen, even when I am using the dragon, it doesn't actually make any difference. We still end up losing, which is actually kind of a testament to how strong some of these factions can actually be. And also the reason why using the dragon is actually, in my opinion, not actually that overpowered. If you take a look at the various things that we've gone through so far, you can very easily tell that, yeah, the dragon actually isn't even that strong. It is strong, don't get me wrong, it is strong, it is very strong indeed in certain situations, but on the whole, you're not really going to have a free I win button. Sure, you're going to have an I win button against an army that you're probably going to be okay against in general, and you know, if they're outnumbering you, especially when they're on the fields of battle, you are probably going to be achieving victory most of the time. But the problem with that is that otherwise you have to be very careful. You can't just, you can't just run in with your dragon and then expect to achieve victory. That's just not going to work. You've got to be a bit smart with it as well. You can't just randomly do whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I kind of thought in the previous episode, you know what, I'm just going to use the dragon whenever I feel like I need it, because if I do it that way, it makes more sense than if I just alternate, you know, from a realistic perspective. Because as I say, you know, is it realistic for House Targaryen not to use their dragon because it's quote-unquote unfair for the opponent? No, not really. I mean, are they? Are they really gonna, you know, that doesn't really make sense to me. And that was the reason why, you know, I just didn't feel the need to really explain that thought process, because I thought that was kind of, you know, obvious to be expected, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that. As I said, we're going to limit the amount that I use it in this episode at least, and we're going to see how it goes, because obviously there are numerous reasons why we would want to use it as much as possible, because we really want to make sure that we continue to achieve victory, because let's face it, our final objective, you know what it is? It's to take King's Landing, and you can best bet I'm going to be using a dragon in King's Landing siege. I mean, really, why wouldn't I, you know? Like, that's the entire point, you know? If I am literally someone that has the ability to use something as strong as that, why would I not decide to use it? So that's why it was very confusing to me when I saw a bunch of people saying, hey, you know what, you're using the dragon too much. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You know, you can definitely say that. You can definitely give me your feedback, because I appreciate it. But then, on the other hand, you know, we've got to think about how it would actually be in a realistic situation in, you know, in the source material, which is kind of fantasy-esque anyway, so, you know, it kind of, you know, makes sense to take from that and kind of think about how those factions would actually act in those situations. Because what are they going to do? As I say, you know, what are they actually going to do? Is House Targaryen, is Daenerys, or shall we say, if you're watching House of the Dragon, is Daemon literally going to decide, you know what, I'm not going to use my dragon against my mortal enemies this day. I feel like I will give them a chance. And sure, you know, I think there's definitely been moments where he may have done that in House of the Dragon, just because he wanted to either prove himself, or, you know, just generally be a little bit more visceral in tackling an opponent. But at the end of the day, he's always got that sort of, maybe not so much of a backup, but he's always got that ability to call upon if he feels like that's going to be, you know, necessary. I mean, obviously you can't call the dragon into the throne room or whatever, you know. I mean, obviously you can't do that here either, but, you know, that's the point. Hilariously enough, there is actually a scene in House of the Dragon that is relatively similar to what I just said. No spoilers, obviously, in case you haven't seen it. But yeah, that kind of just says, you know what, there's possibilities. You know, there's possibilities all over the place. So maybe a good idea to keep an open mind about that. But yeah, anyway, as I say, from a realistic standpoint, if we're thinking about the source material and if we're thinking about how the Targaryens were or are, they're not really going to mince words or tactics when it comes to the utilization of their greatest weapons. Because that's basically what they are. They are indeed, you know, living weapons against normal infantry, cavalry, archers, whatever you have. They are absolutely overwhelming forces of destruction. And as I say, they're not going to hesitate, you know? These people are not going to hesitate in utilizing their strongest card to win at any cost. But on another note, it has actually come to my attention, thank you to one of you in the comments, that the AI does not actually take individual troops from the battles. So whenever we've had a situation where there's been rescued prisoners or rescued troops, yeah, we haven't really been having our forces do that. And I'm actually kind of speechless at that fact, because I would have 100% assumed that the developer of Bannerlord would have made sure that that kind of thing would be done automatically, because for me personally, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't automatically just do that, you know? I mean, I think they used to do that in Warband, so it's a little bit strange that it doesn't do it in the, you know, shall we say, quote-unquote, next generation game in the franchise. It seems a bit strange, doesn't it, right? I think that's a bit strange at least, but whatever the case, we can now take all of the loot and we can now move on. So, but that's just, you know, it's kind of keeping that in my mind, you know, we're keeping that in my mind about how we have to move forward. Because in those situations, especially when we have a massive amount of rescued troops, we really do want to prioritize our own armies and, you know, see what we can do about that. You can see here that I've literally called for an insane number of people to join us here. And I am going to be going into a battle against this fellow in just a second. I do want to make sure, he's probably going to... Yeah, there is very little I can do about catching him right now because he is currently not disorganized, and we are, of course. So let's see if we can actually catch up. Yeah, it seems like I will be able to catch up. I'd like to try to restore my HP a little bit. Really? Dorne is actually coming? Whoa, okay, so wait a minute. It is hard-coded. It apparently is hard-coded. That's very, very strange.
I think you're...
That is very, very strange. Okay. Alright, so here we go. Now, this is actually an extremely large battle, as you can see right here. I have no idea how this is going to go. I don't know whether I even have the opportunity to command my forces. That's actually something that is going to be a little bit problematic for us. And I now have 250 in leadership. Oh, okay, that's actually quite nice. Okay, let's see what I can do. 10 party size limit or 1 battle morale at the beginning for each tier 6 troop. Not sure if I care about that too much. I'll go for the 10 party size. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have no idea how this is going to go because apparently the combat strength bar at the top is not color-coded at the moment, so that's obviously not helping me in the least to kind of decide what we need to do here. But yeah, anyway. Let me see. Right. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is obviously going to be one of those battles where we have to be really, really careful. Don't know whether it's even going to be possible for me to achieve victory here. I am going to be using the dragon in a small portion of the battle. We're going to limit the dragon's effectiveness to around 100 kills. At least that's what I'm going to go for right here. Just 100 kills because that actually evens the battle out rather significantly. And that makes it possible for us to... Oh, I went way overboard and I've now killed 178. Alright, well, that's my bad. Anyway, the enemy's forces do seem to be charging us now, so I will literally just get off the dragon and we'll try to do some damage in... Oh, okay, never mind. I literally just got shot by a thrown weapon and I'm now basically dead. Well, that's wonderful, isn't it? Who would have expected that, though? Literally, I just got off my mount. I just got off the dragon, and then all of a sudden, thrown weapon coming right at me. That was not very pleasant. Okay, don't kill me now. Don't kill me now. I would very much appreciate it if I could survive. Okay, so Dornish Vipers, obviously pretty harsh. Oh, nice, Soren, nice. Okay, yeah, obviously I can't actually stop Soren from doing anything right now, and I got hit by another thrown weapon, as you can see right there. What a... that is very, very irritating, I have to say. Yeah, there's not much I can do about this. Unfortunately, I just have to kind of let it happen now, and we'll have to see what transpires. And there was actually someone that did give me a really cool mod. I should actually install this mod for next time, and this would have been an absolutely fantastic addition to this particular fight. But the mod in question basically allows you that once your character dies in a battle, you are then able to take over someone else in that battle, and then you can continue fighting. And in my opinion, that is... oh, yeah, I am very much looking forward to that. There used to be something like that in Warband as well. And I think there used to actually be something like that in a previous version of Bannerlord 2. But I think that particular mod became outdated. And I don't know whether it was updated further than that. So I'm very much looking forward to installing that potentially. And we'll see what happens here. So I think we should be fine. I mean, if I just zoom things along a little bit here, this is, yeah, as you can quite clearly tell, we are absolutely destroying the opponent, even without my kills. You can see here, if you were to remove 182 of my kills right now, then we would be still far and away better than the opponent. So it seems like they are definitely having much less influence over the course of this battle than we would have actually expected. I would have expected them to be absolutely crazy good. And I would have definitely expected us to very much lose this much, much quicker than we are actually. And, well, there you go. I mean, I guess this is actually kind of a funny kind of thing, because it kind of proves that the dragon isn't really necessary to achieve victory, but it's just kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's just kind of fun to use, and the enemy is actually starting to catch up a little bit, but still, it's still far and away not doing as much. You know, 200 kills. If you remove 200 from here, we still killed 800, and the enemy has killed 600. So we would still technically be achieving victory here. And look at that. Oh yeah, my forces all gathering together. They're now zooming ahead to the archers. You better go over there. You better go over there. Kill them. You better kill those archers. Otherwise, you're just going to get absolutely murdered and picked off one by one. There we go. They're finally charging in. That's nice to see. And the cavalry, the new cavalry reinforcements are coming in as well now. And hopefully we're going to be able to see the victory. And that is indeed the victory right there. Yes, I think that is indeed it. The final charge of our forces, and there we have it. Very nice indeed. All right, whew. That was actually a little bit intense, because from my reckoning, I mean, obviously, if you take a look at the amount of kills that my own forces got, so we got Soren. Obviously, she did get quite a significant amount of kills too for an AI. You know, she's not going to be the most, shall we say, efficient with her dragon attacks or whatever, but she was able to get 44 kills, and our Unsullied were able to get 63, which is actually not bad. You know, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, we are going to be making peace with Dorne, however, and now this is where I'm actually going to be a little bit out of character. And I'm going to be taking all of them prisoner, or at the very least, I'm going to be taking as many people as I can prisoner. And then we will also be attempting to capture as many people as possible. This is maybe not going to work out so well for me, but we'll try it out. Let's see. Yeah, I can have quite a few, as you can see right there. So that's quite nice. But yeah, what I actually want to do is I want to execute some people. Now, I'm not sure whether this is a good idea. For me personally, I don't think it is going to make any difference. But I'm kind of hoping that maybe it will. But I highly doubt it, because at the end of the day, what can I do about Daenerys making peace, you know. I mean, it's not really me doing that. It's more her doing that, isn't it? So our kingdom will receive 700 tribute daily. Yeah, and as I say, I kind of want to. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to do any of those decisions right now. I want to actually go and execute those people. So I don't even know if these are particularly strong vassals. I mean, I can't really tell. They seem okay. I mean, this is a bit of a problem now. You see, this is a bit of a problem because I don't want to execute someone that is a particularly cool character or vassal or whatever. And now I'm like, okay, well now I'm in a bit of a tough situation here. But yeah, most of these people, as you can see, are honest and relatively decent, upstanding people. So I'm feeling bad about it, but I'm gonna do it nevertheless. Let's go straight. Oh. Are you serious? Look at that. Look at that. This is such a cool screen. This is actually such a cool screen. If I hadn't done this, then we wouldn't have seen this screen. Okay, so yeah, you can obviously see here that if we do decide to go ahead with the execution, you can see exactly what we're going to get. And I am going to get a slight negative impact to our father-in-law, but he does have a pretty significant amount already, so I don't think we really need to worry too much about that. And where is Daenerys? I don't actually see her on this list. So does that mean that we are not actually going to have any problems with her? No, it doesn't seem like it. So let's just... Oh, look at that. That's the execution. We literally are executing people with a dragon instead of the axe. That makes so much sense. Oh, I think they've done a fantastic job with that. I think they really have. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, so we are losing some pretty significant amounts of relation here. But that, in my opinion, is... I think that's kind of necessary. I think that is kind of necessary because what we want to do, ideally, is make Dorne as weak as possible so that we can actually sweep across the their territory just that much faster. As I said, I did turn off static wars, so technically, they shouldn't be making peace this fast anyway, but they are apparently doing that. And we've gained the devious trait. We've gained the deceitful trait, in actual fact. The deceitful trait is obviously much harsher. So let me actually just take a quick look at Elias, because he's actually got 2 negative traits now, as you can see. He's actually deceitful and cruel. Obviously, the reason why we have the cruel affix associated with our character here is purely for the fact that we have just attacked some villagers. That is it. That is the only thing that has caused. So yeah, anyway, they're going to make peace relatively soon, as far as I'm aware. I can't really do much about that, unfortunately. I can only hope that maybe Jorah is going to be able to take the other thing over there, maybe. Okay, yeah, we got rebels. Oh, he actually did. He actually succeeded. That's fantastic. Oh, okay. That's really, really nice. And we have now made peace with Dorne, as you can see right there, which is very sad. And, oh, yeah. And this is, they have rebelled. As you might expect, they, of course, have rebelled. So we are just going to go straight on down there real fast. And we'll see if we can do something about that. Obviously, Dorne seems to have been struggling quite dramatically from taking this initially. I can assume that to be the case, because otherwise the rebellion wouldn't have happened so incredibly fast. Because this technically is a Valentine fief, as far as I'm aware. And, of course, they're no longer with us. You know, they're no longer in the game. So it makes sense that they would be not available to govern it or anything like that. But as someone very very helpfully mentioned in the comments, what you can do is, if you are struggling for companions or whatever to become governors, you could just recruit some random companions and then dismiss them, and then the game will generate more for you. And maybe you'll get lucky with the culture that they are, or something like that, and then maybe you'll get, you know, Valentine or something like that, which I think would actually be cool. You know, I think that's really fun. So that's a nice way of doing it if you don't want to install a mod like Character Reload or something like that. Because for me personally, I think the ease of use and the quality of life that you gain from using a mod like, as I say, like Character Reload, I think it's just absolutely incredible. It really is. Being able to just modify a companion's culture on the fly, I think that is so amazing and saves you so much time and busy work and frustration that I think it's... I don't know. I think it should be kind of like an option or something like that you can toggle on or off in the base game. I know someone actually took real big offense to me saying that it should be part of the base game because it is basically a cheat. Obviously, it is basically a cheat, but this is indeed a single-player experience. If you remember that, then maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from. But what I'm saying is, if you are able to customize a companion to your liking, maybe you can just make it so that the companion is, I don't know, starting from level 1, has very few skills or anything like that, maybe isn't particularly strong in anything particularly, and the only thing that you can customize out of them is their culture, their age, the way they look, and all that stuff, and otherwise they just start with 10 in every single skill, and that's it. So it's basically just like you creating a companion that will fit the role that you want them to fit, but they're not going to be, you know, useless after a certain period of time. So you do have to spend time in nurturing them as much as you possibly can. And I think that's actually a pretty cool idea. But of course, you know, Character Reload doesn't do that. You know, it's more of a case of, you know, I'm just going to allow you to customize whatever, whenever you want. And that, as I say, that is a very cool thing, but obviously not part of the base game. It is a mod, of course, and I'd highly recommend, if anyone has any issues with cultures of your companions, you should probably check it out. It is definitely one of my favorite mods, just purely for the fact that it is capable of saving you so much time, and I'm always someone that really appreciates that, because I don't like wasting time, you know. I don't like wasting time in games like this where maybe there's something that I need to find, and it is just extremely frustrating for me to, you know, there was a small series that I did that was basically all on stream. You know, I was live streaming this series. I actually wanted to continue with that, but then they released another update and so on and so forth, and I was playing a bunch of other things at the time. But whatever the case, I was live streaming this thing, and we got to a point where I thought to myself, okay, I actually would like to get a smithing companion. You know, I wanted to get a smithing companion so that we could actually have someone be the smith for our party. And I was trying to find the smithing companion in the encyclopedia, and everyone was really helpful in the chat, basically saying all the affixes and prefixes, suffixes, and so on and so forth that were associated with smithing companions. And so I was trying to search for all of these things, and in the end, it turned out that the game had not provided any companion that had smithing skill. So you can see my point about that whole thing. Because in general, if you actually want to, with Character Reload, for example, you can technically just give a companion however much smithing skill you want them to have. So obviously, extremely powerful customization mod, and as I say, highly recommended if you just want to, you know, have the thing at your disposal, whatever it may be, straight away. So you don't have to actually, you know, have these issues where you just go, oh yeah, I can't find, you know, blacksmithing companion, I can't find, you know, medicine companion or whatever. Yeah, all that stuff is a thing of the past with this mod, because then you're going to be able to just customize your experience even further. And for me personally, I wouldn't potentially use it for anything that is a significant, especially for a series. That's the point. For a series, I wouldn't use it to give myself an advantage for any reason other than just changing a culture here or there. I wouldn't change stats, wouldn't change ages, wouldn't do anything like that, with the exception of children, of course, because I think that's actually quite fun to do that. But yeah, as I say, I think the ability to just customize your experience even further is so powerful. It really is. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to expect some more into roguery. Oh, yes, I am. Thank you. And yeah, I would actually like to attack. Oh yeah, by the way, the Dothraki actually made peace when we were just about to besiege their castle over here. And so that's the reason why we have not eliminated them yet. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try, me going and attacking the Dornish. And it does indeed seem to be hard-coded. I don't know whether it is, in fact, like that on purpose, or whether, you know, there is something going on there. I don't know. Haven't heard anything from the modding team surrounding that or whatever. But I can only assume that, yes, indeed, it is probably, you know, it is probably hard-coded, which definitely makes things a little bit more difficult for me specifically, but maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe we can make it work, because now I'm having to decide, okay, well, what do we want to do from here? Because we are pretty strong. And theoretically, that strength can be translated into a potential victory in King's Landing. I mean, I think we might be able to make that work. So I'm thinking, you know what, maybe we should just go for it, you know? Maybe we should just go for it and see what happens, because I do have a huge amount of influence. And that's kind of... that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? That kind of speaks for itself, because I don't need to worry about, you know, my army, my army cohesiveness or anything like that. Well, technically, I do need to worry about my foodstuffs and supplies and so on, but I don't actually need to worry about anything else in that regard. So I should be able to go over and take King's Landing almost immediately, I think, potentially. So I guess that might be something that we want to do. Again, that's very much a case of, do we want to achieve our final objective right away? Because that was the point. My main goal initially was to take every single fief on Essos. That's what I wanted to do, because having a completely united front and having an insane amount of resources at our disposal would make everything so much easier for our AI friends and for me as well. Obviously, I don't really need anything right now because we're swimming in money, we're swimming in influence. My renown has actually almost, you know, gotten to the point where we don't need any more renown, really. I mean, obviously you can continue to get renown, and that, you know, continues to increase your party size, but obviously clan tier 6 is where you really want to be, and there's not really much else that we need, right? You know, it doesn't seem like there's really much else that we need. So that's kind of my point. Do we want to go for it? I guess that's the question. That is the thing. Do we want to go for King's Landing in the next episode? In the very next episode? And by all means, let me know. Let me know what you think about that, because I'm thinking we could probably do it. That's the reason why I'm doing this tournament, by the way, just so that I have something to, you know, talk over, basically, because there isn't any war going on, and I didn't want to call for another army for the Vale or anything like that, because I was kind of thinking maybe we'll attack the Vale again, and we'll see what happens with them. But I have a bad feeling that it's probably just going to be another case of instant peace, and that would be quite sad. But yeah, you can see here that the Vale has basically captured absolutely every single thing here. And of course, we do still have Bravos to deal with, but is it really necessary for us to deal with them? No, not really. You know, it's not that important for us to eliminate them. Same thing with the Dornish as well. It's not that important, but it was something that I was kind of wanting to achieve. So I guess there's that. Anyway, the only other thing that we can do... Is this owned by the... This is owned by the Riverlands. King's Landing is owned by the Riverlands. That is a weird thing. Right. Okay, who owns Dragonstone right now? Dragonstone itself. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So, that's the thing. Oh, apparently Celtigar Keep is owned by the Vale as well. The Vale is doing some weird stuff, actually. They've gone to some weird places, and they've captured some rather strange fiefs. I've never seen them in these places before, I don't think. So yeah, there's also that. Yeah, there's also that. Anyway, yeah, there's King's Landing, as you can see. Massive amounts of troops in there, or at least militia. And I'm actually kind of wondering what kind of militia they have. They're going to have City Watch, of course, and they also have Gold Cloaks. The Gold Cloak Snipers. Shall we take a look at their stats real fast? Gold Cloak Snipers. They have a pretty significant amount of those. Okay, they're nothing special. They're actually nothing special to write home about. I am going to assume that they have some others there that are much more powerful. Maybe the Gold Cloak Elite Archers? No? No, the Officers. No, the Officers are also not particularly strong, but they do have a significant amount of them. So maybe that's the main strength of them. But let me just take a quick look. Who is it again? Who owns this? The Riverlands. Okay, so let's take a look and see what the Riverlands are all about. There they are. Right. Okay, so you could see here that they actually have 10,000 combat strength. My faction has 16,000 combat strength, and we have 22 towns. Obviously, I haven't really given them a significant amount of time to build up their forces, so theoretically, House Targaryen is even stronger than this. So, take from that what you will, but from my perspective, I think we might be able to do it, and by all means, let me know what you think, and that's probably going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.